collectively, we were psychologically stripped and rebuilt. One. Two, like you pointed out with the redlining and economic castrations and the miseducation in their educational systems and so forth and such. All of these things that they carefully, these tools that they carefully crafted and implemented and primarily focused on burdening us with learning them in order to be considered acceptable, even though that was a lie. That for a human, that does a lot to the brain. And different humans process it, regurgitate it, adhere to it, or it breaks them differently. Everyone is not the same. We're not carbon copies of each
That's
other.
why you got to link up with your own people, though. Because when you
Exactly.
weak at
But going
somebody
back
else
to what you're
strong.
saying, sorry for interrupting you. Going back to what you're saying, you said so yourself. That's one of the difficulties because we find it hard to be able to link up with each other because of the distrust. Because that was a tool they used,
Right.
psychological. Because, and all of, you just use colors. Perfect example. We're a visual people. So it's easy to manipulate how we think and feel about something. And you mentioned the same thing in the prior podcast, a couple of them, that unlike other cultures, if young blacks watch TV, they get emotionally involved in everything about it. Like when you pointed out about that movie, Brooklyn's Finest.
Right.
How they meticulously and purposefully cast the characters the way they did and then showcased them visually so you would focus more on this guy as opposed to the person you were supposed to. They again, psychological. So if this is done constantly and then that people regurgitate this because they don't know better to the next generation, so forth and such over hundreds of years, is why I say that's why it seems so difficult, like you pointed out, for us to get together because of the distrust and all of this, all these different mechanisms that they put inside of us, mind, body, and soul, to make it hard for us to go past that invisible glass like you did with the hospital.
This what he was saying, talking about the mental manipulation of our people has been deeply embedded in us to the point where they will sell us a movie on killing us, right? And we'll pay to go see it, right? And Brooklyn Finance, for example. And I'm just gonna break down a little critique of it, right? When the movie first come on, the main cop guy, Keith something, whatever his name is, but he killed another cop. He killed a drug dealer for a robbery, whatever. But in the beginning of the movie, they kill a kid, but they don't show the murder, but they show the protest for the murder of the black kid. But they never show the black kid family, right? Now, when you writing scripts, the purpose of them not showing a person's families because they don't want to have you emotionally tied to who the black kid is, right? They don't want you to describe who his personality is, who he really is. They don't want you to see his mother tears. They don't want to humanize him, right? So what they did is this is a movie now. You have Wesley Snipes, Don Cheadle in there, big black celebrity actors, right? So we're gonna come out in bulk to go see these type of actors. So they never show him, never show the black kid. But the cops who is robbing the dope dealers, right? They have a card game. Now, this part of the movie is where they emotionally attach you to the character. So they have a card game and they explain the financial hardship of the cop. Him having 5 kids, they had mold in the house, his wife was pregnant with 2 kids. Now they played on the fact of white people having birth defects too, like not having a high birth rate too. So that was the emotional play on that with white people, right? So now at the same time they showed why this white cop was robbing black people. And every time they showed you the black people in Brooklyn Finest, they showed you the black people doing criminal activities and doing stuff to harm each other's, right? So they played them up as animals to justify their own killing. But this was a movie that was marketed to black people. Not only did they did that, it was another guy in their gear. I forgot his name too. But He was played the cop too. Now he used to go to his house and he used to walk past this pimp dude with this white woman, but he wasn't in the over policing people, right? So when one day he go to work and he see the white girl missing on a bulletin, so the next day he had to go run into the black man house and capture the kidnapped white women, right? So the purpose of his character was to show the significance why you have to over police black people. This was all done in Brooklyn Finest, but this was a movie that was packaged to black people, but it was meant to degrade and belittle the lives of black people at the same time, right? That's how films are wrote. Films are wrote to make you emotionally attached to certain people and to justify their actions. Just how come sometimes you can watch a movie and a guy can do wrong and you can cheer for him the whole time, right? Because, or example, John Q. Remember John Q? Now this guy held everybody hostage, but you was able to make him the good guy because you was able to mostly attach him to the fact of the health insurance program, them not taking care of his kids, right? So that's the same way, them same methods applied to make you emotionally tied to John Q getting what he wanted from the holding people hostage and getting his child worked out. That same method applied to Brooklyn Finest. They justified the police robbing blacks because there was nothing but animals and savages. But this was a movie they sold to us, right? So yes, this is deeply embedded in us, and black people are not. We asked about the canceling. They canceled Kanye West for speaking bad against the Jews, but they did not cancel Kanye West for what he said about black people, right? Because we don't hold you to that, right? Nobody else supposed to cancel you for speaking bad about black people but black people. When you get on the music and you rap about constantly killing black people, you rap selling black people, teaching black kids to take Molly and all that, black people supposed to cancel you. Nobody else. You're devaluing black people. Be clear, when you devalue the life of any black man, you devaluing the life of all black men. So when you think it's easy just to blow somebody noodles out and kill somebody and you rap about that 100 times on your music, we supposed to cancel you. Nobody else supposed to cancel you. We supposed to tell advertisers we're not supporting that. He said it's okay to kill my son. We supposed to stand up for that. So yes, we have a mental issue that's deeply embedded in us. We have a loss of culture. We so far out of our culture. Understand, Memorial Day was created by us. Blacks used to go to where the Civil War people died at, fighting the Civil War, and we used to memorialize the dead each year, right? We've always respected the dead. So when you see this rap, when you see black people spitting on graves and all that, and we've been burying people for hundreds of millions of years, that's white supremacy has taken black people far from their culture. We've always respected the dead. We spoke to the dead. This is what they call voodoo and all this type of stuff. We've always had a connection with our ancestors. So all that is an example of your disconnect with your ancestors, right? That's all I'm telling my people. So what I'm saying is that yes, it's about connecting with who we is as a people. Our culture is in us and it's going to come out of us, but we absorbing somebody else's culture. That's what I'm saying to us as a people. That's why I say our economics and our business, we have to look at it different. Their capitalism is individual, top up.